Man, do you know what I really hate about coffee? I love coffee, but when you have a really nice fresh cup of coffee and accidentally drink the very bottom of it, the grounded remnants of that coffee, you get into a nightmare. You're getting nauseous for nothing, and it's horrible. And I just did that. I hate myself for doing it, and I am not amused, as you can clearly see. But it's okay. It's okay, because we are here to talk about WildStar, which is going to take my mind off of that stupid-ass cup of coffee. Hopefully. Ladies and gentlemen, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. My name's Icy Volk, and we are here to have another WildStar discussion, this time on the Medic class, which is one of the two redacted classes from Carbine Studios, the other being the Engineer. The Medic, after hearing so much about it and after watching the live stream and reading the AMA thoroughly, I actually thought to myself I might reconsider my class choice for when I first play the game, the official game. I originally planned on playing the Esper, but now after seeing the combat style for the Medic, I was like, man, this actually looks pretty rad. Like, the Medic has a non-traditional style of combat, and we're going to talk about that in a few minutes, but let's actually go over at some of the main characteristics of the Medic. So first of all, what is the Medic? If you'd like to have a little glimpse of this class, you should first of all check the Dev Speak video for this class. You should watch the live stream, which is at twitch.tv/wildstar. Also read the AMA if you want to know specifically about this class's abilities. And I suggest you go watch the commentary vid that features Stephen Frost. It's on IGN.com. I'm going to put the link in the description below so you can go ahead and click that right away. But if you don't want to look at all of these things right now and listen to this video, then let me tell you some of the things that the Medic is. What are the Medic's main characteristics? So first of all, the Medic uses medium armor. So this can only mean one thing. If this class uses medium armor, it's obviously some sort of a close combat class. And that is actually kind of true. The Medic is a medium-ranged DPS/healer class. So the Medic relies a lot on mobility and being within the action of the combat. He's not like this kind of traditional class that stands far away, but is instead this kind of like unconventional guy who likes to heal allies and or damage enemies on the move. So the Medic has a lot of mobility featured, and the resource type that's being used by the Medic is called power cores. So you have about 4 power cores that are featured on top of your health bar, and they start at full and are consumed when you use finisher abilities. They can be generated using the Medic's basic attack or healing ability. When you're out of combat, those power cores quickly restore at full. The races that are available for this class are, on the Dominion side, we have the Chua, which are the little furry guys, the Cassians, the Aryan race, and the Makari, the robots, the merciless robots. On the Exile side, we have the Human, the Granok, and the zombie guys, the Mordesh, who can play this class. So we have 3 races on each faction that are available for this class. And so, as far as weapons goes, Medics mainly use Resonators, which are basically shock paddles or defibrillators, which are these things that doctors use or surgeons to, revive patients and whatnot. Medics also use fields, which are AoE abilities that they could cast on the move, and they can also, some of these fields are free-form targetable, so they can put these fields wherever they want within a certain range. And fields usually either do damage over time or they do burst damage if they are activated right away. And fields can also heal allies if they are activated once an ally walks into that field. And lastly, medics use probes, which are these active healers or damage dealers. They're like little mechanical orbs that fly around the player or the ally or the enemy, and they have different purposes. Some probes deal damage, damage over time or burst damage. They can heal over time allies, and you can also detonate them if you want to do burst damage or burst healing. So probes will, you can target enemies or allies with the probes, and the probes are actually untargetable and like bots, things that you can cast. So they can't be destroyed by anyone else. They're untargetable, and they can either heal over time or damage over time, and they can also be detonated for burst damage or healing. Like I've said before, the medic is a medium-range DPS/healer, which means that the medic is a class that relies a lot on mobility. So I really, like, after seeing the combat style for this class, I was like, man, I want to play this class. I feel like it would be a lot of fun to actually heal or do damage with this guy. So let's look over at some of the main information for this class. First of all, due to their short range, medic healers will need to rely on their mobility and their ability to keep allies close. So as a medic healer, you have to keep track of your tanks and allies because you don't have a lot of long-range abilities. You don't have like abilities like the Spellslingers or Espers that can like heal people from far, far away. So what you need to do as a medic is you need to follow your allies constantly and be relatively close to them. Medics have also a strong early game according to developers, so they have a lot of burst damaging abilities that you can cast right away at the start of a fight. They do, when you're like, halfway through the battle, you kind of do less damage because you have to build up abilities with power cores, but at the very start of a fight, medics are really powerful, just like stalkers are when they, engage combat, because they go into stealth mode and then they do whatever they want with their claws. Same goes for the medics. They kind of unleash burst damage at the very start, and they kind of build up some, power cores progressively, and then they do more burst damage towards the end of a fight. Medics are specialized, in hybrid abilities. They are the class that can heal and damage often, most of the time. So they have a lot of abilities that damage an enemy and heal an ally's health or shield. And medics are actually the only class that can heal ally shields. So I believe the engineer can restore shields using the repair bot, but medics can actually have a direct ability that, restores ally shields. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later on. Now, let's talk briefly about the stream for this class. I think, personally, that the stream episode for the medic was amazing. It was well organized. The guys even wore professional outfits. They had ties on, and the lighting was better. They had like an out-of-focus background. I think the camera quality was a little bit better. And they kind of introduced the engineer and the medic briefly. They also warned people about fake keys that are being sent out through forums and on the Twitch chat. They also featured the WildStar flick on all the classes, which features Ishmael the Bloodied, who is this NPC who gets beat up by every single class that's featured in the video. So Hugh Shelton, the lead class developer, was there. Mark Motzenbacher, who is the warrior and medic class designer. They were both on the stream, and they were, explaining what the medic does in very great detail. During the stream, they had a duel between a medic and a Stalker, and it was a tie. It was a pretty balanced fight. They also showed us the medic Death Speak, as always. Some of the medic abilities were showcased, and they had an infograph for each ability, which was great. It showed us what kind of range each ability has, and they gave a lot of details on each and every ability. They also showed us some solo PvE play and questing. That was kind of interesting too. And they also had a staged world PvP event for us. It was a 2v2, very hectic fight going on there. And finally, we had some dungeon content. We had a group of people, and we had a medic in the group fighting Storm Talon, who is the final boss in Storm Talon's lair, which is this this Exiles dungeon that's available at level 20. The fight was very cool. I found it to be rather challenging for a level 20 fight, and I think that's, I give that super thumbs up. I always like a challenge, and I appreciate the fact that the content is hard already at this level, at this point in the game. So that's always good. And when they beat the boss during the stream, they had like this pop-up going on at the screen, that showed player stats. And so what the pop-up is supposed to do, what it's intended for, it's to encourage players to be better next time, and to not, be bored by the content that's being introduced to the player. So Carbine is clearly trying their best to, motivate players to keep playing the game and not be bored, and to always give them some sort of challenge. So that was pretty much it for the stream. It was about an hour long, very organized, well-paced. It was better than last time. I have no negatives about it whatsoever. Let's mention now some of the abilities that are available for the medic. So, as always, we have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 abilities for each spec. So, we have 10 assault abilities, 10 support ones, and 10 utility ones. So let's mention some of these abilities. We have Dematerialize, which is a debuffer. We have Particle Collider, which is an execute ability. We have Fissure, which is an AoE damaging ability. It's 15 meters long. We have Discharge, which is this builder ability that can be cast in an AoE cone. It's a channel ability that grants 2 power cores. We have Gamma Rays, which is a finisher / lined AoE ability. It consumes 2 cores and is 15 meters long. We have Devastator Probes, which applies probes to enemies in a cone, in a 15 long meter cone. It can be detonated for extra damage. We have Quantum Cascade, which is an expanding diamond-shaped wave. It does a lot of damage. We also have Annihilation, which is an AoE ability that is shaped in a rectangular line. So these are most of the assault abilities. For the support side, we have Shield Surge, which is a damaging ability. It's also a shield restoring ability, so it does damage and it restores shields. We have Paddle Shock, which basically does about the same thing as the previous ability. Instead, though, it restores HP instead of shield. We have a Mission, which is a healing over time ability. It's a power core builder, and it can heal up to 5 allies in a frontal cone. Sorry. We have Repair Probes, which is a healing over time. It also heals. It summons these probes that are, that heal allies. You attach them to allies, and they can be detonated for burst healing. You have Treat Wounds, which is a single target ability. It heals friendly allies, and it has a range of 30 meters. We have Healing Nova, which is a burst AoE heal. It's diamond shaped. We have Repair Station, which is a field AoE based ability. It's a healing ability. It is also a freeform targeted ability that is 30 meters, that can go as far as to 30 meters. It's square shaped, and any ally or player that walks over this field activates its effects. We have Field Surgeon, which is a mass AoE heal. We also have Barrier, which is your oh shit ability. It restores shields, it grants interrupt armor, which prevents CC, and it also applies a healing over time on allies. And it's also 30 meters long. We finally have Extricate, which is a healing ability and also pulls party members close to the player, and it's also shaped in a 25-meter long cone. So it's also another oh shit ability. For the utility side, we have Paralytic Surge, which is your stun ability. It's 15 meters long and it's diamond shaped. We have Urgency, which is your CC breaking ability. It also blinks you forward, and if there's an enemy ahead of the player, it receives AoE damage. If it's an ally, then it receives AoE heals. We have Restraint Grid, which is a field that snares enemies that enter it, and on top of that, the player that casts it leaps backwards by a few meters. The fourth spell available on the utility list is called Calm, which pacifies a foe and restores some amount of shield power. We have Suture, which is a heal ability and also removes a debuff from the player. We have Recharge, which is a focus restoring ability, so it restores the mana resource, and it regenerates focus over time, some focus. We have Empowering Probes, which is a buff ability that increases damage dealt for about 10 seconds. It's also a surrounding field that is square-shaped. We have Protection Probes, which is a short-lasting defense buff. Lasts about 10 seconds, I believe. We have Magnetic Lockdown, which is a root ability. It is also cone-shaped. And finally, we have Field Probes, which is a field that buffs allies and debuffs enemies. So it has two purposes. And so the debuff or buff increases incoming healing on allies and decreases incoming healing on enemies. So these were all of the abilities for the medic class. That was pretty much what I wanted to talk about as far as the medic goes. It's a really captivating class, very unusual healing class, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. Make sure to check out the links that I've mentioned at the beginning of this video if you wanted to know more about the class. I really recommend you do that. And next week we're going to be talking about the Engineer, which is the last announced class, and the week after that we're probably going to talk about the Stalker, which I didn't talk about last week because first of all I was on vacation, and second of all Carbine Studios didn't actually put up a live stream episode for the Stalker, so they're probably going to put that up after the Christmas break, which is going to happen soon. But guys, as always, thank you for watching, and make sure to like, comment, let me know what your thoughts are on the medic, and I'll see you soon. Okay, goodbye.